Imagine this for a second. You get your hands on a time machine. Your first thought, maybe fix a mistake, see a historic event, or just have some fun. But what if your first trip was to visit your own grandfather, before he ever met your grandmother? And what if, by some accident, you prevent them from ever meeting? If they never meet, your parent is never born. And if your parent is never born, you are never born. So, who just traveled back in time to stop their own existence? This is the grandfather paradox, and it's not just a fun thought experiment from sci-fi movies. It's a serious headache for physicists who ponder the possibility of time travel. It seems to create a direct contradiction, a logical impossibility that breaks the very fabric of reality. But what if our understanding of causality, of cause and effect, is too simplistic? What if the universe has a way of dealing with these little hiccups? Today, we're diving headfirst into the mind-bending world of time travel paradoxes to see if we could ever truly rewrite history without completely shattering the cosmos. So, the grandfather paradox is the big one, the celebrity of time travel problems. You go back, you do something that prevents your own birth, and poof, a paradox. The core of the problem is that the effects you existing is erased by its own cause you traveling back in time. It's a loop that eats itself, but this is just the opening act. There are other, equally bizarre paradoxes that make the grandfather paradox look tame. Take the Bootstrap Paradox, for example. Imagine you're a huge fan of Shakespeare. You travel back in time with a complete collection of his plays, hoping to meet the man himself. But you can't find him. He doesn't exist. So, to preserve history, you publish the plays under his name. The question then becomes, who actually wrote Hamlet? It wasn't Shakespeare, and it wasn't you just brought the book. The information, the plays themselves, seem to have no origin. They are stuck in a time loop, existing without ever having been created. It's like a song that's famous, but no one ever wrote it. This paradox deals with information or objects that are uncaused, trapped in an eternal cycle. Then there's Polchinski's paradox, which adds a bit of physics to the mix. It was proposed by theoretical physicist Joseph Polchinski. Imagine a wormhole that connects the present to a minute in the past. You shoot a billiard ball towards the entrance of the wormhole. Its trajectory is set so that when it emerges from the other end in the past, it will collide with its younger self, knocking it off course and preventing it from ever entering the wormhole in the first place. So, if it gets knocked off course, it never enters the wormhole. But if it never enters the wormhole, what knocked it off course? Unlike the grandfather paradox, which deals with complex human actions, this is about simple, predictable physics. The laws of motion themselves seem to create the contradiction. All these paradoxes, from your non-existent grandpa to the self-colliding billiard ball, point to one central conflict, the seemingly unbreakable law of cause and effect. Everything that happens has a cause. But time travel, at least the kind where you can change things, seems to spit in the face of this fundamental rule. So, how does the universe solve these problems? Is time travel simply impossible? Some physicists would say yes. They argue that the laws of physics themselves forbid it, through something like Stephen Hawking's chronology protection conjecture. The idea is that the universe has built-in safety features to prevent these paradoxes from ever happening. Trying to build a time machine might cause it to explode or create a black hole. Basically, nature floats, but that's not the only theory. Another popular idea is the Novikov self-consistency principle. This suggests that you can travel to the past, but you are physically incapable of creating a paradox. The universe would conspire against you. You'd go back to stop your grandfather, but your gun would jam. You'd slip on a banana peel. Or maybe the person you thought was your grandfather was actually just a stranger who looked like him. In this model, you are part of history, not an editor of it. Your actions in the past were always part of the timeline that led to your present. And then we have the most exciting, and perhaps the most mind-bending, solution: the multiverse, or many worlds interpretation. In this view, any action you take that would create a paradox instead splits the timeline, creating a brand new, parallel universe. So, you go back and prevent your grandparents from meeting. You haven't changed your own past. You've just created a new timeline where you will never be born. Meanwhile, your original timeline remains perfectly intact, and a version of you is now stranded in a world where you are an anomaly, a visitor from another reality. In this scenario, you can't change your own history, you can only create new ones. This neatly sidesteps all the paradoxes. The grandfather paradox: you just created a timeline without you. The Bootstrap Paradox: the book of Shakespeare came from a different timeline. It resolves the contradictions by giving them a new universe to play in. So, could you rewrite history? In your own timeline, no. But you could be the author of an infinite number of new ones. What do you think is the most likely solution? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy exploring these cosmic questions, make sure to subscribe.